Hey everyone! Welcome back to the English Connect podcast, where we learn English through conversations that actually change how you think. I'm Sophia, and right here with me is the incredible Jason.
Hey, Sophia. Hey, everyone. Okay, I have to start today with something that happened to me this week, and I'm a little embarrassed about it.
Oh, this is already good. Tell me everything.
Someone left a rude comment on something I posted. One sentence from a stranger, and it ruined my entire afternoon.
One sentence. One stranger, your whole afternoon gone.
Gone. Completely gone. I replayed it. I rehearsed comebacks. I told 3 people about it.
You told 3 people. Jason, this stranger lived rent-free in your head for hours.
Completely rent-free. And the worst part? They have no idea. They moved on in 30 seconds.
And that right there, that exact thing, is what today's entire episode is about.
We give people, situations, and moments so much power over us. Power they never asked for and don't even know they have.
And today we are talking about one of the most powerful skills a human being can develop, the ability to stay calm and react to nothing.
Not because you are cold, not because you don't care, but because you are in control of the one thing that is always yours, your response.
Think about the last time someone's words ruined your day, the last time traffic made you furious, the last time one bad email sent your whole mood crashing.
Now imagine, what if none of that had touched you? What if you could feel it, see it clearly, and choose not to hand it your peace?
That is not a superpower. That is a skill. And by the end of this conversation, you are going to understand exactly how to build it.
Here's what we have for you today. Sophia and I are going to have a real, honest conversation about what reactivity actually costs us and what calm actually looks like in the real world.
Then we will break down 5 vocabulary words and phrases from today's conversation to sharpen your English.
And we will close with one specific challenge you can use today, the next time something tries to steal your peace.
Before we begin, here is your question. Think of the last time you reacted to something and immediately wished you hadn't. The sent message, the snapped word, the decision made in anger.
Hold that moment, because we are about to change how it ever happens again.
Let's go. Okay, Jason, let's start with the real question. Why do we react? Like, what is actually happening inside us when someone says something or something goes wrong and we just explode?
So here is what is actually happening. Your brain has a threat detection system that is millions of years old. It was designed to protect you from lions and predators and immediate physical danger.
But now, instead of lions, it is getting triggered by emails and traffic and Instagram comments.
Exactly. The system cannot tell the difference between a lion chasing you and your boss sending a passive-aggressive message at 6 p.m.
The same alarm for a lion and for a bad email.
The same full-body, heart-racing, tunnel vision alarm. And the moment that alarm fires, your rational thinking shuts down.
That is so important. When you react, when you are hijacked by that alarm, the smartest, most thoughtful part of your brain is literally offline.
You are not thinking, you are reacting. And reactive decisions are almost never your best decisions.
Think about every time you said something you regretted, every sent message you wished you could take back, every argument that went too far.
A reaction, not a choice. There is a massive difference between those 2 words.
A reaction happens to you. A choice is made by you. And the space between stimulus and response, that tiny gap, is where your entire power lives.
The philosopher Viktor Frankl said it best. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our freedom.
Freedom, not just calm. Freedom. The freedom to decide who you are in that moment, instead of being decided for you.
And here's what nobody tells you. The people who seem unshakable, they are not unshakable because nothing bothers them.
They are unshakable because they have learned to feel the shake and not act from it.
That distinction is everything. Calm is not the absence of feeling. Calm is feeling everything and choosing your response anyway.
So then the question becomes, how? Because telling someone to just stay calm is the least helpful advice in human history.
Exactly. Has just calm down ever once made anyone calmer in the history of the world?
Never. Not once. It has the opposite effect every single time.
Every single time. So what actually works? What does it look like in real life to build genuine unshakability?
The first thing, and this sounds almost too simple, is learning to name what you feel before you act on it.
Because there is a remarkable thing that happens in the brain when you put a word on an emotion. The intensity of the emotion immediately decreases.
Neuroscientists call it affect labeling. When you say, "I am feeling angry right now," actually say it or think it, the emotional charge drops.
It is like you were telling your brain, I see this, I know what this is. I don't need to sound the alarm at full volume anymore.
And that tiny reduction in intensity is all the space you need. Just enough room to ask, what do I actually want to do here?
Not what the feeling wants to do. What do I want to do?
Because your feelings are messengers. They carry important information, but they are terrible decision makers.
Your anger tells you something is wrong, but your anger should not be the one writing the reply email.
Your anger has terrible grammar and zero strategy.
The worst. So you receive the message, something here feels unjust, something here hurt me, and then you decide what to do with that information.
Now, the second thing, and this is the one that genuinely changed how I move through the world. It is the question, is this mine to carry?
Curiously, say more about that.
When something upsets you, someone's words, someone's behavior, someone's opinion of you, ask honestly, is this actually about me, or is this about them?
Because most of the time, the way people treat you is a direct reflection of what is happening inside them, not a verdict about who you are.
The rude stranger online? Probably in pain. The colleague who snapped at you? Likely overwhelmed. The person who dismissed your idea? Possibly threatened by it.
And when you understand that, really understand it, their behavior stops being something that lands on you and starts being something you can observe with curiosity instead of hurt.
You stop being the target. You become the witness.
And witnesses don't need to react. Targets do.
Now, third thing, and this is big. Stop rehearsing the argument.
Oh, the mental courtroom.
Yes, the mental courtroom where you are the lawyer, the judge, and the jury, and you argue the same case for 6 straight hours.
Presenting evidence, cross-examining the witness, and furthermore, what they said in 2019.
Exhibit A through Z, and the other person has no idea the trial is even happening.
But here is what that mental rehearsal actually does. Every time you replay the moment, you re-trigger the emotional response. You are re-stressing yourself voluntarily.
You are choosing again and again to hand that moment your peace. Nobody is forcing you. You are volunteering.
And calm people are not people with nothing to think about. They are people who have decided certain thoughts are not worth the cost of their peace.
Your peace is a finite resource. Every moment you spend reliving something that is over is a moment stolen from the present.
And the present is the only place where your actual life is happening.
Now I want to talk about something that I think is deeply misunderstood about this whole topic, because staying calm, reacting to nothing, can sound like weakness, like being a pushover, like not standing up for yourself.
And it is the exact opposite of that. Exactly the opposite.
The person who reacts to everything is not powerful. They are controllable. Anyone can push their buttons and steer their behavior.
But the person who stays calm, that person cannot be moved without their own permission. That is not weakness. That is the highest form of strength.
Think about the most powerful people you have ever encountered, the ones who commanded respect just by walking into a room. Were they reactive?
Never. They were measured, deliberate, unhurried. Not because nothing affected them, because they had decided nothing would control them.
Reaction says, you have power over me. Calm says, I have power over myself.
And that is a completely different energy that people feel immediately.
When you stop reacting, something extraordinary happens. Conflicts lose their fuel. Provocations lose their effect. People who want to disturb you eventually stop trying.
Because what is more frustrating to someone trying to get a reaction than nothing?
Absolute, elegant, unruffled nothing.
It drives them crazy, and you are completely at peace.
And here is the deepest truth about all of this. Staying calm is not about suppressing what you feel. It is not about building walls or going numb.
It is about being so rooted in yourself, so clear about who you are and what you value, that the storms around you cannot reach your center.
The storm can be real. You can acknowledge the storm, but you don't have to live in it.
You are allowed to be the eye of it, still, clear, completely intact.
And that stillness, that radical, practiced, chosen stillness, is not something you either have or you don't. It is built, repetition by repetition, choice by choice.
Every time you pause before responding, every time you name the feeling before acting on it, every time you ask, is this worth my peace?
You are making a deposit into the most important account you will ever have.
Your own unshakability.
And nobody, not one person, not one situation, not one bad email at 6 p.m., can make a withdrawal from that account without your permission.
Not even the rude stranger from the beginning of the episode.
Especially not that person. They don't even remember you exist.
And that is both humbling and incredibly liberating.
All right, everyone, time to sharpen your English. Let's break down 5 powerful words and phrases from today's conversation.
First, reactivity.
Meaning, reactivity is the tendency to respond quickly and automatically to situations, especially emotional ones, without pausing to think. A highly reactive person is easily triggered, meaning small things produce big responses. Reactivity is the opposite of intentionality. In today's episode, we talked about how reactivity hands your power to external events, because when you react automatically, the situation is controlling you, not the other way around.
First, reactivity.
Meaning, reactivity is the tendency to respond quickly and automatically to situations, especially emotional ones, without pausing to think. A highly reactive person is easily triggered, meaning small things produce big responses. Reactivity is the opposite of intentionality. In today's episode, we talked about how reactivity hands your power to external events, because when you react automatically, the situation is controlling you, not the other way around.
Example sentence. His reactivity in meetings had cost him 3 promotions, not because his ideas were weak, but because the moment someone challenged him, he responded with heat instead of clarity, and people stopped feeling safe bringing him problems.
Number 2, stimulus.
Meaning, a stimulus is anything, an event, a word, a situation, a sensation that triggers a response in a person. It comes from psychology and biology, where it describes anything that activates a reaction. In today's conversation, we used it in the powerful context of Viktor Frankl's idea. Between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lives your freedom. The stimulus is what happens to you. Your response is what you choose.
Example sentence. She had spent years treating every critical comment as a stimulus she had no choice but to react to, until she understood that the comment was just information, and what she did with it was entirely her decision.
Number 3, affect labeling.
Meaning, affect labeling is a psychological technique, backed by neuroscience, where you put a word on the emotion you are experiencing in order to reduce its intensity. When you consciously name what you are feeling, I am angry, I feel humiliated, this is fear, the emotional part of your brain calms down. It is as if the act of naming tells your nervous system, I see this, I understand this, I don't need the full alarm anymore.
Example sentence. Her therapist taught her affect labeling as a first response to conflict, and she was stunned to discover that simply saying, I am feeling threatened right now, could take a situation from explosive to manageable within seconds.
Number 4, unshakable.
Meaning, unshakable describes a quality of deep inner stability, the ability to remain grounded, clear, and composed even when circumstances are difficult, provocative, or painful. An unshakable person is not unfeeling. They experience the full weight of difficult situations, but their core sense of self, their values, and their composure are not determined by what is happening around them. Unshakability is not a personality trait you are born with. It is a practiced, built, earned quality.
Example sentence. What made her such an extraordinary leader wasn't that crises never affected her. It was that when they hit, her unshakable composure gave everyone around her permission to think clearly instead of panic.
And number 5, composure.
Meaning, composure is the state of being calm, in control of your emotions, and mentally clear, especially in difficult or stressful situations. It is not the same as being emotionless or disengaged. Composure is active. It is the conscious maintenance of your internal state in the face of external pressure. People with composure can acknowledge difficulty without being consumed by it. They can engage with conflict without being inflamed by it. And they can respond to provocation without being defined by it.
Example sentence. He lost the composure he had maintained throughout the entire negotiation in its final minute, and that one unguarded reaction cost him the deal, not because the deal was wrong, but because composure, once lost, is very hard to recover in the same breath.
Jason, honestly, after everything we talked through today, where are you sitting?
Honestly, thinking about that stranger and my ruined afternoon, and realizing I handed them something priceless, my time, my energy, my peace, and they didn't even ask for it.
And you will never do that again in quite the same way, because now you have seen it clearly.
And that is the shift. You cannot unsee it. Once you realize that your reactions are choices, you cannot go back to pretending they are not.
So here is your challenge. The next time something tries to steal your peace today, and something will, do not react for 60 seconds.
Just 60 seconds. Name the feeling. Ask, is this worth my peace? Ask, is this mine to carry?
And then, from that 60 seconds of space, choose your response. Not the reaction, the response.
Come tell us in the comments. What was the situation? What did you choose? We are reading every single one, and we are genuinely rooting for you.
If today's conversation reached you, share it with one person who needs it. One person who keeps reacting to things that do not deserve their energy.
Subscribe, leave us a review, and stay with us. New conversations every single week.
And here is what we want you to carry today.
Everything that has ever hijacked your day, ruined your mood, or pulled words from your mouth that you wished you could take back, none of it had the power to do that. You gave it the power, every single time. Not because you are weak, because you were never taught that there was a space between what happens and how you respond. But now you know. The space exists. It has always existed. And inside that space is something no one can take from you. The freedom to choose who you are in this moment. Not who the situation makes you, not who the provocation wants you to be, who you decide to be. Calm, clear, completely yours. That is the practice, not perfection. Practice. One pause, one breath, one choice at a time. Start today. The next moment is already on its way.
This is Sophia
And Jason.
signing off from the English Connect podcast.
Keep learning, keep growing, and the next time the world tries to get a reaction out of you, smile, breathe, and give it absolutely nothing.